I was wrong about Van Badham, and this is the book I've just listened to. I'm about to review it for you in this video. And I was wrong about her in multiple ways, right? Because I assumed Van Badham was her surname, right? Like in the Dutch style Van something or other or whatever, but turns out her first name's Vanessa. I learnt that while reading the book, right? And she approaches things in a fascinating way. Let me start at the beginning though. Broadly speaking, the book covers Gamergate, Pizzagate, Qanon, you know, like the big hitters of global internet conspiracies. And if you're terminally online, right, if you're watching this review, you probably won't learn anything from the book. It's pretty surface level stuff, but the way she presents it is fascinating to me, and it's not something that I would have predicted based on the idea or the concept of Van Badham that I had in my head. She presents the people who, like, push forward these conspiracies as victims, which I think is an interesting perspective and one that I often side with, you know what I mean? Like, they're not the worst off. They're often doing worse things than have happened to them, but more often than not, they're too stupid to realise they've been led down the garden path and that they're like the Dunning-Krugers of the Dunning-Kruger effect. I don't know why, but I assumed Van Badham was very similar to Clementine Ford in the sense that so many horrible things had happened to her that she just couldn't look at someone who looked like me without seeing the enemy, you know what I mean? And like, so I just, I had put them in the same place in my mind, and it's very clear after listening to this book that that's either unfair of me in both situations or like they're just not very similar in that sense. I'd recommend the book, right? It's made me do a lot of thinking, maybe not necessarily about the stuff within the book, but like about the writer of it and about just the themes in general, yeah? If you like Australia, or if you like Australian social commentary, you'll like this book. Give it a listen. If you've got Spotify Premium, you can listen to it for free. That's how I listen to it, on Spotify. So like, yeah, check her out though. Like, she's got her head screwed on. I'm gonna go listen to a bunch more of her stuff now that I've realised, like, she would give me an opportunity to have a discussion, I reckon. She seems like that sort of a person, and I had her completely pegged wrong in that sense. So I'm gonna go listen to some more of her shit now. My grandma always used to say, never attribute malice where incompetence will suffice, and I think that's the broad theme of the book, you know? Sorry for the spoiler, but that's basically the broad theme of the book, and I fuck with that, you know what I mean? So, like, it completely shifted my perspective on the author, because I agree with her on this, and she read it herself as well, which generally I'm not a fan of. I don't like it when authors read their own books. Like, being a voice actor is a thing, you know? Like, people that read audiobooks, it's a whole different art form than writing the book. But she did a really good version of that too. Like, she was a brilliant audiobook reader as well as the author of the book. It's completely shifted my perspective on her. I'm going to go look into more of her stuff. You don't have to do that, but like, have a listen to this book if you've got a Spotify Premium like membership and you're wondering what to do with the next 10 or so hours anyway, right? Listen to it at 1.4 speed.